Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another speed build. Today we're back in Ravenwood on the Moppy Manor lot and we're going to be building a home for a Macabre Mixologist. I don't know why, but it just popped in my head that there should be a mixologist that lives just on this lot, and obviously that's the new trait that came with the pack is macabre. So I said, oh, Macabre Mixologist sounds kind of cool. Let's just work with that. And that's kind of where this whole thing came about. I was just playing around in my head with titles basically for a lot and seeing if I could make something that matched that. First, I decided to try to make this a tiny home because I was very ambitious and I really thought that I could do it. However, I like to add flooring tiles to like underneath the roof tiles so that I can add trim all around the house, and those count as floor tiles for the tiny home, so that did not work out. But I still think it's a relatively small home, so use your imagination. It's not technically a tiny home residential, it's just a regular residential, but we got there in the end. And now I've worked on the roof trim. I just wanted to get something down for now because I was trying to come up with the shape. I really wanted like a whimsical kind of fun shape to match the rest of the world, but I didn't want it to be too out there and make it more of a difficult shape than it already was. As you can see on this side, it's kind of like swooshy and really fun, so that's what I wanted. And then I really love the roof trim that came with, I believe that's the one that came with Love Struck, or it's from For Rent. I'm not 100% sure, but I really like the kind of dangly bits that come off of that, and I just thought it looked really nice with the new roof texture that came with Life and Death. And I really like the two little spires on either side of the home, kind of catty corner from each other. I thought that that gave a nice unique shape. Now I did start out with a very light colorway with this home, but then I decided to change it up and go dark and maybe a little bit more moody, a little more stony. I didn't know what I wanted to do, so it took me a long time. You might see this change quite a bit, but I did use the Seasons wallpaper for the bottom floor of the house and also the roof eave that is over top of it. And then I saw this lovely door that came with Strangerville, and it had this bright green, almost like an emerald green door, and I thought that was so pretty, and it would match a lot of the new emerald green tones that we got with our furniture recently in the game with all the new packs. So really wanted to go for that color scheme, and I leaned into this door very heavily for the rest of the build. As you can see, I have changed the top spire to be that same green tone in shingles. I just love that. And then these windows from Life and Death as well. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I played around with them for a while, but I did end up changing to the Strangerville windows because they match the door, and I was trying to make everything kind of go along with that theme. I just really loved those color tones. I did have to end up changing the siding because the lighting is so strange on this lot, but on the back of the lot, the door totally doesn't match the siding on the rest of the house. So I do end up playing around with that a little bit more again. But first, we're just figuring out where the bedroom and bathroom and kitchen are going to go. The bedroom is a little tiny. As you can see, I have not expanded it yet, but this is about the point that I decided to, because I was trying to work in where the counters were going to go, and I realized I just did not have enough space for a full kitchen, and I thought it was very important that the mixologist have a full kitchen, because I assume if she likes to mix beverages, she might also like to pair those with food. It only makes sense to me. So that is why I had to kind of move things around, expand a little bit in the back, expand on this deck a tiny bit, and then move the roof around. So, it was a process. It took me a couple days to really figure it out because I had to work in bits and pieces, but I think it came together quite nicely in the end, and I really enjoy the shape of the roof and how it kind of leads up into itself. Basically, it's like all connected, but it's not. And I was trying to go for like a double layer thing here in the front, and I really liked how that worked. So I repeated that in the back as well so that I could get rid of these weird little overlapping roof pieces. I just had to pull back the eaves back to, where the flat part is, and then pull the whole roof piece out instead. It was very strange. I did a lot of very weird roofing things in this build, but I think it came together in the end. It just took me a while to get there. I was having such a hard time going back and forth. I think it came out nice. I hope you think so too. Please leave a comment if you think that I did an okay job, because I would like some reassurance. Please, thank you. And back here, we are on the back deck is where I'm changing the swatches of everything again, and also just rethinking the columns all together because I could not find a swatch that came with the new Life and Death columns that matched what I was going for with the Strangerville doors and windows. And then I pull out the Vampire Spandrels, believe it or not, come in that lovely green tone, and it matched just closely enough to the shingles that I used on the above spire, and I thought that worked quite nicely. And I also liked it with kind of the stepped out trim that is on the rest of the house. As you see, I just put that on there, and to make that trim you have to put flooring underneath all of the roof pieces on the second floor, or it won't pop up. This is why I needed to make the home bigger, because I had to add flooring pieces, and that took my tile count way above what it needed to be. So sadly, not a tiny home residential, you don't get those extra perks, but it's still really cute, so I hope that makes up for it. And now we're working on the kitchen. You'll see I use this archway from Strangerville, and of course the lovely green countertops and upper head cabinets and the stove and range hood from Life and Death. I love this tone. The wallpaper is from high school years. The flooring is from Growing Together in this gray tone. I just thought it was nice. I was going to go with green, but it was a little overkill, so I thought maybe the gray would kind of bring in a little bit more light into the room. And then I wanted to pick out some lovely curtains, so I went with these lacy curtains that came with the Riviera Retreat kit. And I did start with these like light yellowy pastel-y kind of ones, but then I changed it later to be black because I thought that made a little bit more sense. And I feel like right now those curtains stand out like a sore thumb. I also made a fake chimney up here. So obviously there's no fireplace in this home. If you wanted to make a fireplace in this home though, then the chimney would work, and it doesn't matter where you put the fireplace exactly. I just didn't have space necessarily to put one, and I thought maybe this used to be the fireplace and now it is just like the ventilation for the stove. And you know, that makes perfect sense, because I do end up moving the stove over to that far wall in the kitchen, and then in the middle I end up having the sink and dishwasher. So right around here is where I decided to move the stove over a little bit. I just didn't like it right in front of that window. I thought that was perfect space for a sink and a dishwasher space. You can just look out the front window and enjoy your view while you're doing dishes or something, and I thought it was really fun. And later I do end up cluttering up the kitchen more than what you see on camera. I just did not think about it until after the fact, and I said I'm not going to record like a few little things going in here and there. So I did add a few clutter pieces just now, some lemons and a little mortar and pestle and some spoons and utensils for cooking, but we will get back to that later. Now we're going to be in the bathroom. So I pull out the Seasons toilet and I believe also the Seasons shower, and then I'm moving some stuff around back here to make it make sense, because I wanted it to be big enough to accommodate at least a stand-up shower, sink, and toilet. That was the idea. And also this lovely large window from Strangerville that matches all the other windows. And I picked the sink, the vanity from Growing Together, because I really like that black tone, but then I did change it to match the wood on the door a little bit. The door frame is a little bit more of a wood tone, so that is what I went with for that. Now we're going to be out in the living space. This is kind of like the bar / living space, so I put in this little tiny bump out over here, a lovely bar that is base game, and then the bar height chairs are from Life and Death. The couch is from Life and Death, as well as the console table, and then the TV I put up here on the wall, and these shelves are from Life and Death, and they're a little bit underlit, so I thought that was cool, and they go right above the TV, so I can clutter it up with a bunch of fun little knickknacks. And the walls, I kept this lovely black kind of patterned wallpaper with the paneling on the bottom. I just thought it was so fun, and I really wanted to kind of lean into that dark and moodiness for this room, because the kitchen's pretty light. The bathroom is a little bit on the lighter side as well, and I thought maybe the living room could be just a tiny bit darker. As you'll see, I have a little tiny globe on top of these shelves. There's the lovely music box that came with Life and Death, these roses that came with Life and Death, and then just another little urn vase I thought was a fun nod to the pack. And now I'm rearranging the bar, of course. I also pulled out like the scotch bottle and the carafe, like the glass crystal carafe. I thought that was really fun, so I put that on the bar, but I end up using alt placement later to move it over slightly so it's not quite so in the way. And I figured you could also invite like some friends over and make drinks, and then you could have two people sit there, because right now I think only one sim could actually sit there while they have a drink because the little decoration is in the way. Over here in the entryway though, we have the lovely poof from Life and Death. We have a coat rack, we have some shoes, a little entryway rug. I thought that was a nice touch, just pretty simple. And then these curtains, which are actually from Vintage Glamour in the black swatch, I thought were really nice, and I sized down the middle ones so that they wouldn't clip so harshly, and I also thought that it looked nicer just a little bit up from the ground. And this light that I love so much from Growing Together, it is perfect for this corner. And then a little hanging plant from Paranormal Stuff. I love that plant, it's so versatile, I use it all the time. And then some of these lovely tarot card paintings that came with the new pack as well. I love those. I use those also in the bedroom later on, so you will see them again. And now we have the little entryway just getting completed. I'm adding some more plants. That one is from For Rent. And then up on the table I added like a little quill and paper set. I thought that was a nice touch, and a little notepad, and then a light. I think I just used this one from Love Struck because it's tiny and kind of low profile. It's not too crazy with the design. I didn't want it to have to be the focal point of the room. And I also added this other plant that came with Paranormal Stuff. I really enjoy that plant too. That plant is very, very nice because it's just like, it looks like a nice lazy little vase that someone just threw a bunch of stuff in. And I also love that cow plant terrarium, so I threw that in there as well. Another plant on the console table. And now we're working back in the kitchen. We have this little cutout in the kitchen roof, and this is where I decided to put in some beams. These beams came with Love Struck. I put them all throughout the ceiling of the kitchen just to make it all make sense. And then I lowered this light down with Tool Mod. That is the same light from the bar area from Growing Together, and that way it is open to the upstairs and it lets in just a little bit more light because I do end up putting windows up there. Again, from Strangerville, they match the rest of the home. It's really pretty. And then the upper portion of that spire has the stonework that is on the fake chimney as well. So I think it all matches really nicely. And we are back in the bedroom. We're finally picking out the wallpaper because I thought I wanted that green wallpaper. But then when I saw this green curtain from Cats and Dogs, I said, you know what? Actually, the walls can be a lighter tone, and then the curtains can be the green instead, and it can bring out the green in this bedspread. By the way, I love all the different bedspreads from this bed that came with Life and Death. I think they're so pretty, and they're very versatile. They're not all too dark and macabre. I think some of them look really, really nice. They could be for anybody's bedroom. I also added a standing mirror from Growing Together, some little knickknacks for on top of this dresser that came with Life and Death. We have some flowers. We have the candelabra from Love Struck, the little purse that came with the, I think that came with the Modern Luxe kit, and then the jewelry box that came with Crystal Creations, because I thought that this sim would enjoy wearing a lot of fun crystal jewelry, and some more of those tarot card paintings up on that wall just to give a little bit more decoration. And of course this painting from the Cozy Bistro kit because I really like that, and she's a mixologist, so there's a lovely old vintage photo of a lady holding a glass of wine, very fancy, and of course a little tiny end stool thing here right underneath that. Maybe that's where she sits down to get ready for the day. And now we have the bathroom. I'm just adding my regular bathroom clutter stuff. We have the toothpaste cup and the soap pump up on the sink, and then the toilet paper roll on the wall. I did change the swatch of this toilet to black because I thought it looked nicer. We have our plunger, some lotions on the back of the toilet, and also this little tiny plant because I love that plant and I use it everywhere. And then the little hand towel from Growing Together, which I also use everywhere. It is a bathroom staple. And then this lovely decoration on the wall here, it just looked a little plain, so I wanted to throw in some adornment to this wall, and I think maybe that she painted that off of a stencil. And then a lovely painting, the blue door on that side. I think it's so pretty. And my robe and bath towel, of course, because you need those on the wall as well. And I love this ceiling light from High School Years. I just sized it down a whole bunch because otherwise it's way, way, way too big. And another one of these black curtains from Cozy Bistro as well. We have the Modern Luxe swirly light in the living room, and then the Cozy Bistro mirror over here in this corner. You'll see that there are two little tiny pieces of the beams poking through the wall. I tried to kind of hide them with that plant, but obviously they do stick through a little bit. I don't think it's too big of a deal though. It doesn't bother me. If it bothers you, I'm sure that you can cover it up with something else. I was just like, you know what? I think that's fine. When am I going to look at that? Probably never. So I added a lovely bench from Cats and Dogs out on the front porch, and also the lights that came with Life and Death, and a little wall mounted mailbox over here on the front porch. And then I just kind of tried to fill it with a little bit of plants because this corner over here isn't going to be used. It's too small anyway to really fit anything in there that's useful. So I threw in some plants from For Rent and Crystal Creations, and then some more lights and a little welcome mat. And then back here we have a base game table with also these dining chairs from Life and Death, and a little flower vase on the table as well. Now we're adding some trees and some debug landscaping and some bushes. I like these little cubey bushes, and I don't get to use them very often because they're kind of like right on the nose. Like they're not really that great of a quality, but I thought back here they looked nice because it's like very intentional. Like she just wanted it there just to hide the stone wall. And then I use all these poppies that came with the debug from Life and Death. I love those so much. I think they're actually supposed to be peonies, but they look more like poppies to me. And then more of these square bushes in the back. But I repeat the same kind of low-lying flowers and the big rose bushes and the peonies all over the landscape in the front, and then I repeat them in the back all along this stone pathway that kind of makes up the patio. There's also a hot tub in the back corner. I thought that was a nice touch right under the tree, and then I add some low-lying fences all along just to kind of frame it out. There's also a bar table over here with the chairs that came with Cozy Bistro and a cute little light on the table. I also use the Shagalicious, I believe is called, is the plant with the really big red flowers. I just size it up one in a couple spots because I really like how the red flowers pop, and when you size it up it actually looks a lot more full and vibrant and better quality than when it's sized down. And then of course some garden plots because I always have to add somewhere for your sim to plant flowers and such. I thought that was nice because maybe if she likes making drinks, she likes to grow herbs and other fruits and stuff to add to her drinks. It just made sense to me, so I thought maybe it would make sense to you. There's also an outside bar and grill space because again I think that the sim enjoys entertaining and she would like to have a little outdoor entertaining space right in the center of town in Ravenwood. And then I added some more of this walkway over here just to lead around the house, and I thought that that was exactly what we needed. And some dirt, of course, all underneath all the plants and around the trees, and more of these walkway lights. I think those are from Romantic Garden Stuff. I really like those. They're very simple. And then some more adornments to the roof to make it look a little bit more blended in with the world. But this is our home. This is the Macabre Mixologist home. I really hope that you enjoyed this. Also, side note, I know that my voice sounds a little funny right now. I don't know what's going on. I just decided to lose my voice all of a sudden. So yay. There we go, just in time for Thanksgiving. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below if you'd like to see anything else or if you have any ideas for future builds. I'm currently thinking about an occult townhome also in Ravenwood. I have the perfect spot for it, so keep an eye out for that. And I appreciate you stopping by here today. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye, guys.